will be affected uh, by too much amount of water uh, present on the land. So there are several techniques which we do, which we adopt to reclaim our land affected by water logging. That would contain number one, seepage interceptor drains. Seepage interceptor drains are constructed. They are basically the drains which are constructed parallel to to collect seepage water. For example, this is being shown in the next slide. I think this one is showing you that is the seepage interceptor drains, which will be collecting extra amount of water, okay, and then they will um, they will not allow the water to be standing on the surface or cause water logging in certain areas. Upper Punjab canal is also Upper Chenab canal in, obviously it is in Punjab region. So Upper Chenab canal is the example of a seepage interceptor drain. Will basically carry the water, seepage water, and they are constructed uh, parallel to the main channel of the water. Surface drains also constructed to collect seepage water and proved more effective as compared to seepage interceptor drains. Suleiman key link is shown here. This you can see over here. That is, these are surface drains. They are also being constructed to reduce the amount of water or to reduce the level of water logging. Okay, now how can we again combat the problem of waterlogging? This is done by lining of the canals. Okay, so lining canal is the process of reducing seepage loss of irrigation water by adding an impermeable layer to the edges of the trench. The trench is there, the pit is there, for example, and you need to, you know that if this is there and water is stored in that trench, that will be, the water will be moved out, percolated in the underground, and will cause the loss of water first of all, and secondly that will be the reason for water logging. So you will have to do one thing, that is, you have to line your canal where the water is going, with the water is moving to prevent that thing, that phenomena. You have to line the canal, and that will reduce the seepage phenomena. And seepage can result in the losses of 30 to 50% of irrigation water from canals. The thing is that, firstly, that is important to reduce the amount of water logging. Secondly, that is also important to reduce the amount of water which is applied in the form of irrigation water to your crops. Okay, nearly 30 to 50% of the irrigation water is lost by seepage. So adding lining can make irrigation system more efficient. So the canal beds are lined with two layers of tiles placed above one another and joined together by cement, sand, plaster. Okay, that is, for example, Balogi Suleimanki link is an example of this lining of the canal. Okay, you can say that by man-made, by masonry, or or in another way, or by using the concrete, you can align your canal. Pumping of the groundwater is the fourth thing which we have to do. Pumping out groundwater by tube wells is effective to lower the water table. This is again an example by which you can reduce the amount of water on the land and will be responsible to reduce the water logging conditions. This is lining of the canal. The diagram is showing you the lining of the canal by simply the men. Okay, so in this way, the water will not be seeped out, will not be percolated. So you are protecting the water, you are reducing the cost of water which is being utilized on irrigation, for irrigation and to feed your crop. Then coming to soil salinity, that refers to presence of salt in root zone of the soil. It adversely affects the growth of plant. General symptoms are of the soil salinity are retarded growth. The reduced growth is an example. Retarded growth is also an example. Smaller plants with fewer leaves will be the example of soil salinity. Dark green than normal leaves, okay, then that would be the example of soil salinity. Over here, the salt affected areas or salt affected soils are what? The soils in which concentration of salt is very high are called salt affected soil or thirst soil. Salt affected is a collective term that includes saline, sodic, and saline to sodic soil. Saline is somewhat different, sodic is somewhat different type of soil, and then saline sodic is a mutual combination of both the type of soil. It occurs commonly in arid and semi-arid regions as well as humid and sub-humid regions. Salt affected soil has sodium, calcium, potassium, carbonates, and bicarbonates. Types of salt affected soils are primary salt affected soil and secondary salt affected soil. Over here, E should be replaced by A, and here it should be also done. Secondary salt affected soil, primary salt affected soil. What is primary salt affected soil? The soil that develops as a result of natural causes, imperfect drainage of surface and groundwater, okay, are called primary salt affected soil, which is being produced by natural causes, natural reasons. The causes or the reasons would be natural. In that case, that type of soil will be known as primary salt affected soil. And then what is secondary salt affected soil? The soil that develops due to accumulation of salt as a result of rise in groundwater table or under faulty system of irrigation are called secondary salt affected soil. Okay, so it means that when human being is involved in in producing the crops, obviously, and using the water unscientifically, unsustainably, that could be the reason for secondary salinity in the soil. Processes of formation of salt affected soil. The process of formation is salinization is the process of accumulation of soluble salts by which saline salts are formed. Desalinization, the process, what is desalinization? Is the process of leaching of soluble salts out of root zone is called desalinization. Sodication is the process of accumulation of exchangeable sodium in the soil which results in the formation of sodic soil. And desodification is the process, means this is telling you salinization, how it is causing, and then how can we reclaim, how can we desaline that land. Okay, so desodification is the process of removal of exchangeable sodium from the soil, that is known as desodification. Exchangeable sodium of the soil, when they have been replaced, then when they have been removed or reduced from the soil, then that process is known as desodification or desodication simply. Causes of salinity in Pakistan we have to study. Poor leaching of salts. The original source of salt is exposed rock and minerals in Pakistan. During weathering of rocks and minerals, large quantity of salts are brought in solution. In arid and semi-arid regions, evapotranspiration exceeds rainfall, and rainfall is not enough to leach out the salt from crop root zone. Therefore, this salt concentration in the soil and groundwater cause salinity here. So over here, there are different type of rocks which are being exposed, which are exposed on the surface, and due to their weathering, they give out the ions into the soil. Okay, and these ions are in the region they are brought in solution. Okay, and due to aridity and semi-aridity or increase in temperature, dry climate, sometimes it happens that the evapotranspiration exceeds rainfall. Okay, means evapotranspiration rate is more than the rainfall rate. Rainfall is less and evapotranspiration when it is exceeding too much. So in that case, the rainfall is not enough to leach